Thomas Tuchel sacked by Chelsea Football Club. The shocking breaking news this morning that they have parted company with the German manager and Champions League winner. It has been a disastrous start to the season. 3 away defeats on the bounce and more embarrassment last night away to Dynamo Zagreb in the Champions League. But after nearly £300 million being spent in the summer, the rhetoric coming out of the club that these were Thomas Tuchel signings. This was Thomas Tuchel building a team. This was Thomas Tuchel developing and building his own stature and his own legacy at the football club. Many Chelsea fans were turning against him, but very, very, very many were saying we need to stand by him. We need to give him more time. But he has been sacked. Tuchel is no longer the Chelsea manager. We're going to delve into that and get your opinions, get your views, because this is massive, massive news that's really very much come out of nowhere. Let's go. Absolute shock at the breaking news this morning that Thomas Tuchel has been dismissed as the the manager of Chelsea. We will get the club statement up on the screen for you very, 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 very quickly indeed. Personally, I was preparing a calling show this morning to talk about Thomas Tuchel was the main headline. What do Chelsea fans want? I wanted to take more calls after last night's disappointing performance, and I wanted to gauge what Chelsea fans were really thinking this morning. And before even getting the chance to do the call-in show, to listen to what Chelsea fans are thinking and feeling, this news has come out. This news has shocked Chelsea fans and in all intents and purposes, the football world. Because after the amount of money that was spent, nobody expected this to happen so quickly. I don't even think Chelsea fans are Tuchel out expected this to be the news this morning. The kind of word was nobody really thought that Todd Bowley's group would be as ruthless as Roman Abramovich's team had been and stuff along those lines. But they have been. They absolutely have been. And the manager has lost his job. We're going to get the statement up on the screen for you in just a few moments' time. We are going to share the links to get your instant reaction to this huge, shocking news this morning, because that's what this is. This is huge. This is shocking. This has come out of nowhere. And this is what Chelsea Football Club have had to say. They said that on behalf of everyone at Chelsea Football Club, the club would like to place on record its gratitude to Thomas and his staff for all their efforts during their time with the club. Tuchel will rightly have a place in Chelsea's history after winning the Champions League and Super Cup and World Cup. As for the new ownership group reaches 100 days since taking over the club, and it has continued its hard work to take the club forward, the new owners believe it is the right time to make this transition. Chelsea's coaching staff will take charge of the team for training and preparations for the forthcoming match, and will move forward quickly to appoint a new head coach. There will be no further comment until a new head coach is appointed. And this very much appears, when you look at it now, that, and I want to make sure I say this in the right way, this very much appears like a decision that has maybe been on the cards for a while. Maybe this explains a lot to Chelsea fans. Again, I keep saying to people, don't necessarily buy into the PR of your football club. And what I mean by that is we all got told, football fans and Chelsea fans alike, that these were Thomas Tuchel signings. We believed it because that's what we were being told. Tuchel is picking the players. Tuchel is picking the individuals that he wants. Maybe that isn't the case at all. There was a lot of talk at the end of Roman's reign as they were bringing new managers in. Would Thomas Tuchel stay? Would the new owners want him? And it was just spun to us. Yeah, absolutely. Why would they want anybody else? You now look at the lack of effort from these players, the kind of downing of tools, the almost, some of the things that have been said about players that have left. Maybe, just maybe, these players weren't bought into Tuchel. Maybe the new owners weren't bought into Tuchel, and it made the players think, well, why are we busting our asses off for this guy and his style when we know the owners don't really want him? Where there could be a change very, very soon. No one's really going to know the full inside track, but I think it really does. I think it really does highlight massively why Chelsea started this season so poorly. Their players are better than this. Their squad is better than this. Their ability is light years ahead of the level of performances we were seeing, but they couldn't deliver. They couldn't deliver. They couldn't score. They couldn't create. They couldn't win games. And maybe, just maybe, we're seeing the ownership say, listen, we're going to buy these players, but we've got an idea of the kind of manager we want next. And I do understand, as of right now, the favorite to replace the favorite to replace Thomas Tuchel is currently um uh, I'm reading it here. The odds on the next Chelsea manager currently, the favorite is Graham Potter. Graham Potter is currently the favorite to be the new Chelsea manager. Now, that's just because people are putting money on it. But Pochettino is also available, you know, waiting there, ready to get back in the game. With this squad, with this caliber of player, could he be the right manager to take Chelsea Football Club forward and to that next level? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Right about now, and no one really saw this coming. You know, there isn't a journalist now will be scrambling around. We'll be scrambling around for information and what do we know? What don't we know? Nobody was talking about it. In fact, if you were a content creator and you mentioned him being sacked yesterday, you were kind of shot down as being a sensationalist. You were shot down as someone that, you know, to all intents and purposes, didn't know what the hell you were talking about. No way can he be sacked. No way can this be going on. But he has been sacked, and he leaves Chelsea Football Club with immediate effect. We have some super chats here from you all. He's magic, you know. Maurizio Pochettino is what Pav's got to say. Terry, do you think it's the Zagreb loss? No, I think it's a combination of things. There was clearly an issue in the dressing room. There was clearly an issue, and I think you're going to see things come out. I think there's going to be annoyance from certain players that, why wasn't I allowed to leave? There will be, Mason Mount's been crap, but he keeps getting picked. No matter how hard I work, you don't give me opportunities. I think that players became bored of his style. I think that players became bored of him. And this has happened many, many times. Go back through history and look. When a club is sold and new owners come in, how quickly the new manager, the current manager, however good or bad, is moved on. Because the new ownership have their own ideas, their own identity. And maybe the players picked up on that. I thought, well, I fancy, maybe 10 of the players thought, I fancy a new manager. We know the new owners want a new manager. So let's not work hard. Let's get Tuchel out. Players do that with ease these days. David S., are you still not worried? Listen, David got a big L come in there. Potter is favorite, according to Dyke here. I think Tuchel resigned because he parted the club. Listen, they always spin it as parted the club, mutual consent. In my opinion, it's a sacking. If you want to say it's mutual consent, then that's up to you. Dyke says, I'm actually in shock. Ollie got 450 million to win nothing and more time than Thomas Tuchel. But listen, I think this is what I said yesterday. Everyone said yesterday on the show, and me and Jess were discussing this after the show yesterday. This notion that Thomas Tuchel can't be sacked because there isn't a better manager. Look at his win percentage since December. He's winning around 50% of his games. You have to win over 75% of your matches to win a Premier League title. So if it doesn't matter if on paper there's not better managers out there, he wasn't going to win. You know, give someone else a go. A club with ambition, Potter next. Listen, I think Graham Potter is a great shout for this. I think you've got to look at Maurizio Pochettino. He's going to be a candidate. He's going to be a candidate for this without a shadow of a doubt. Ollie over Poch is what one member here says. Manish, who's a member of the Terraces, could be something personal because apparently, according to Simon Jones on, I don't know what TS is that the Times, it's not a Bowley thing to do. It could be personal. It could. But we'll see. Maybe Thomas Tuchel. I mean, it does say sacked here. I mean, David Ornstein says sacked. So it does. It is clearly a thing to do. Absolutely. I need to send a link to someone. We're going to get some calls in from some people now. A lot of people here. It's trending everywhere. If anybody wants to come on and have their say, we're going to share the link in the live comment section now for you to come on. But yeah, I wasn't prepped for this. I was literally preparing a Tuchel call-in show. We're going to talk about Haaland, Mbappe, and other things, and then bang, this news comes out. Oh, Talk Sport is what that means. TS means Talk Sport. Sorry, I didn't know. We have another super chat that's come through here that I want to put up on the screen. I can't find it. Here it is. It says, I'm in shock. I'm not going to lie, but I think the 300 million in recent form cost him his job. You know, it's form from December. If you look at December onwards, the form hasn't been right. And you've got to remember, the one thing we're not privy to is what's going on behind the scenes. The reason that Man United fell off in that final year under last season under Ollie is because the players didn't believe in him anymore. We lost against Villarreal. He got the new deal, and the players were like, we want something different. And because they asked for something different, it fell apart. And the players down tools. Doesn't make it right, but it's what happened. And whether they did it consciously or subconsciously, it happened. You only need to be off your game by 5% at this level, and it impacts you. Maybe the same thing went on here. Maybe there was just a element of, oh, he's lost the dressing room. The players aren't buying into him. Maybe this isn't a Todd Bowley thing to do, but it's a lot easier to bring in a new manager and get these players back on side that way than it is to try and convince them this season that Tuchel's the guy. And maybe there is no convincing these players, if you get where I'm coming from. So I get why you're in shock, but there's so many elements that we don't know yet. But with the form, the way Chelsea were performing, they weren't making top four like this. And clearly the ownership felt that if we continue in this way with this manager, we're going to end up missing out on everything this year. You look at the form of all the other teams currently, all the other teams inside the top six and the traditional top six, and it's done. You know, I don't think you can get away from it. I don't think you can get away from it at all. That I'm not saying it's 100% the right decision. Let's see who comes in. Let's see the direction the club goes in. Let's see what happens, right? So there's so much to kind of discuss and talk about in relation to it. But I also feel like we have to wake up and smell the coffee. There was a reason that the team were underperforming so badly. A super chat here says, I told you Bowley likes winning. Tuchel is not winning at the moment. And listen, that's a fair point. I don't think you can get away from that. Sacked before Rodgers, blimey. Well, a lot of people will say this is what a top club does. Now, there are examples, and maybe it's a good or a bad example. I don't know how you feel about it. But Mikel Arteta, given time, he's turning things around. But that doesn't mean he's going to win the Prem or going to win the Champions League. Chelsea are in a position where I think the squad they've got, the right manager the players are bought into, can challenge. It's why on paper you look at Chelsea and it's like, well, they should be doing better than they are. But you could have given Tuchel longer and maybe he turns things around like Arteta. But you could also give him longer and it goes further and further backward, like Jose Mourinho and Man United or Frank Lampard. So you've got to weigh things up. And if Todd Bowley's done his research and due diligence internally and the players are not buying into this manager, if there's 20%, 30%, 50% of the dressing room that does not buy into the ideas, then you have to move the manager on. You have to in that circumstance. David here says they have sacked him. Wow. Thought the new owners came in, often changed personnel. Poch in. Ha ha. Listen, I'm not even going to laugh at it. Like, everyone knows my thoughts on Poch, but Poch coming in, I think it's the one, you know. I think they're going to go for Poch. Stylistically will be the best manager Chelsea have had since they've become a title winning, Champions League winning team. They'll be the best football they play. Whether Poch can get over the line and win the trophies is another conversation altogether. It really, really is. But the official breaking news for anyone who is just tuning in with us today, Thomas Tuchel parts company with Chelsea Football Club. Ornstein has now confirmed it as he has been sacked. That is the official line from the journalist. He's been sacked as opposed to just parting company, as many people are putting it. But Thomas Tuchel has left Chelsea Football Club. He is no longer the manager. Currently, Graham Potter is the favourites with some bookies. Poch's name is being mentioned. But who would you like to see come in? Who do you think should be the next manager of Chelsea Football Club? I want to hear from you. But it's the first big, it's funny that the window shut just under a week ago. And I was sitting there going, what's the first bit of big news that's going to happen outside of what's going on in games? And we see it here. And it is that Thomas Tuchel has been sacked and is no longer the manager of Chelsea. Terry, Tuchel at United or happy with Ten Hag? Listen, do you know how happy I am now Man United have Ten Hag? And one of the things I was fearful of as a Man United fan is that we wouldn't get Ten Hag Tuchel would be sacked, or a Pep would leave City, or a Klopp would leave Liverpool, and they would take him. Meaning that it's very unlikely that manager that comes to us. So I'm very happy that Man United have got him. But there are very good managers out there still, and I think that maybe Graham Potter deserves a step up. Maybe Pochettino. I want to get back in the Prem, and I want to show everybody I'm a winner. I've won titles now with PSG. I feel like a winner. That club was just crazy, and I couldn't make it happen there. Maybe now's the time. So I think Graham Potter, they're probably the two top choices. But I want to know who you think should be coming in. Indiana here says, Terry, some humble pie for Chelsea fans. If Poch comes in, all the stick that Gem and Prime were giving Spurs, I need this to happen. I understand why people would say that. Give John Terry the job, the leader that is needed. In my preparation for my show this morning, I had a tweet actually from a Chelsea fan that was asking for John Terry to become the manager. I think John Terry becoming the manager of Chelsea would be absolutely ridiculous. At this level, no experience, and I think it'd be crazy. I think it'd be crazy. I really, really do. 100 million for Lukaku, 60 million on Cucurella. He hasn't got the best out of his signings and even existing players. I kind of get why he's been sacked. Well, there's been a notion for a while that the problems at Chelsea were from him. The problems with Chelsea, that the style of play and all these issues were down to him. He was the reason why these things were happening. But I mean, Lukaku you'll probably get an insubordinate tweet from Lukaku today saying, "I told you the style weren't good enough. I told you it wasn't me." And who knows? This is the crazy thing. Maybe they bring a manager in that brings Lukaku back next year and he starts scoring goals. Who knows? Who knows the direction this will going now? My friend here, Yapis Jr. says, lost the dressing room, only logical explanation. I agree. I think it's as simple and as straightforward as that. He lost the dressing room. And when you lose the dressing room, that's it. It's over. By the way, people, let's get this stream past 1,000 likes. You may not be happy with the news today, but don't take that out on the terrace. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling. Potter's the right choice and would worry me a lot, is what Mr. Perchy says. That's a Tottenham fan who thinks that Chelsea should go after Graham Potter as the next manager of Chelsea. Let's take a look at some more member chats here. Roberto Mancini is what CJ has got to say on this subject matter. I hope Rory Jennings is happy the mug, is what Dan's got to say. Thank you, Thomas Tuchel, is what Dan Cole said. And I do think Chelsea fans have to thank him. I do think Chelsea fans have to say thank you, Thomas Tuchel, as well, because he's given them their second Champions League, Super Cup, and their first World Club Championship. Nearly delivered some domestic trophies. He's given them more. Thomas Tuchel in 18 months has given Chelsea Football Club more history than 95% of all football clubs will ever get. More history in Europe than any other club in London. So there are things to be thankful for. However, time stands still for no man. Brian here thinks it should be Poch that comes in as the next manager. Timothy Cho says, I think he walked. The power he had in the window, and also the fact that we don't have a director of football, makes no sense to sack the most experienced football head. Unless he lost that dressing room. Then I think it makes perfect sense. But I hear your opinion. Should try and get Zidane. Of course, I mean, Zidane's the name you should definitely go after. But I feel like he's waiting for that France job after the World Cup. Does his wife want to come and live in the UK? She's already said no. We'll see what happens there. But Zidane is another option who I think a lot of Chelsea fans would want. Of course, his record at Real Madrid was absolutely exemplary. I just don't see it happening myself. Thank you very much to a few new people becoming members on the show today as well. It means a great deal to us here at the Football Terrace. Zidane doesn't want to be in. Oh, no, I know that. I know that his wife doesn't want to live here. I'm just reading out other people's comments. It was reported that he did lose the dressing room just now. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I haven't had a chance yet to read all of these reports because I'm obviously I'm live now, and the news is now just kind of coming out as things stand. I mean, Simon and Dan, for Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy, have said that Thomas Tuchel's decision was mutual. Two names were given as replacements, like Graham Potter and Maurizio Pochettino. And look, I think for me, what's interesting about that is, and that's that's not directly. They've actually quoted someone else. I think Maurizio Pochettino and I think Maurizio Pochettino and I'm struggling here because I'm typing at the same time. I think him and Graham Potter are the two most logical. I don't see it being Zidane myself, personally. I don't. But stranger things have happened in football. There's lots of reports coming out. So I'm just sharing information about the stream and other bits and pieces while I'm talking to you. We're going to go to your calls very, very soon as well, because I really want to get everybody's opinion on this today. Ridiculously crazy news. The Tuchel decision was mutual. Two names have been given of Graham. Paul Mitchell was sounded out recently for director of football role, and it could be Paul Mitchell and Poch back again. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It could be those two back together again, managing the team. Thank you very much to Ben here for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to me. Potter is not leaving Brighton now for Chelsea. I'm going to say this now to you, with all due respect to Brighton. Graham Potter would be crazy not to take this opportunity. When you're Graham Potter, you strike while the iron is hot. Sean Dyche should have left Burnley a few years ago and everybody was raving about him. Eddie Howe, he's now doing well again, but he fell off because he didn't. When you've got to move sometimes when your stock is high. All it takes is 2 or 3 more superstar managers to come through elsewhere, and you can be pushed down the pecking order. I would love to see Graham Potter test himself at this level, a Champions League level team, to see what he could really do. I get a feeling, though, it could be Poch and a Paul Mitchell combination together with that Champions League experience, which, of course, Graham Potter doesn't quite have. Maybe Chelsea is one step too far this early in the career. And when I say early, he hasn't got experience at the Champions League level yet, and maybe he needs that first. People need to remember Bowley still stands in the shadow of Abramovich. He's under a lot of pressure to create his own legacy as a Chelsea owner. I think it's a very, very fair point that you raised there, my friend. David here says, Boris is a blue, used to be leading a bunch of babies. Oh, Boris Johnson to take over. Can you imagine? Yesterday felt familiar. Leicester 2015 with Mourinho, Lampard in his last weeks, and last week just felt like the players and Tuchel didn't agree. And maybe that's it. Maybe that is just it. So maybe there is an element of mutual consent in this. Like we're gonna part ways with you, Thomas. I agree. I think I have to go. If he gets his severance pay, then he got sacked. If someone cancels their contract, they don't, right? So if he gets his severance pay, then he definitely got sacked. But I don't think it really matters. Let's do some more of your comments here. Terry, I'm a fan of Newcastle. For Tuchel to get sacked, players have to take responsibility as well. And the next manager comes in and Chelsea play well. What would they say about player mentality? Well, player power has always been an issue at Chelsea when things start going wrong. I think you can let it happen once, but you have to nip it in the bud early. Otherwise, you end up with Carlo Ancelotti situations where it's like there's no way they should have got rid of that manager. They should have backed the manager over the players. But if you lose the dressing room, it becomes a really hard place to, you need to stop the dressing room from being lost by everyone knowing the manager has complete control and power. The one thing you'd say about Poch at Tottenham, and even to agree Poch at PSG, he didn't lose a dressing room. It was just other things at play. He must have lost the dressing room behind the scenes, is what my guy here is saying. When I catch Lukaku, he's cursed Thomas Tuchel. Terry, remember when Arteta was favourite to be sacked first? Good times is what Ali Usman's got to say. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, no one would have probably predicted Thomas Tuchel to be the second manager. Would he be the second manager in the Premier League sacked? Yeah, I very much doubt. That anybody would have expected that to be the case. Now, look, I want to start going to your calls because I know a lot of you want to react to this. I know a lot of you want to give us your thoughts, and I know a lot of you want to give us your feelings. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. First on the show with me today, I'm going to go to, it's so hard. Chris is with us. Chris is a Chelsea fan. What do you want to say, Chris?
Hello, you all right?
I'm good. Give me your instant reaction to Tuchel sacking.
I'm smiling so much, and I'm quite happy about this because you could just tell like our performances were so up and down. One game it was decent, but it looked like there was something that we were building towards. The next game was completely horrendous. And the player I want to focus on is Mason Mount, because this guy bleeds blue. And when you have players like Mason Mount not trying, not putting his effort in, not giving his all, there has to be something wrong with the dressing room, because players like Mason Mount wouldn't just do that if the manager had everything on lock. So I'm quite happy with the news. I've been dying for some new football, Terry. I've been complaining about the way we play football for so long. Our midfield has been an issue for so long. Being an attacker at Chelsea just does not seem enjoyable. It seems boring. It seems like you have to put in so much hard work. You look at Sterling, he just looks like he's not having fun anymore. Like, he came from City where he was winning and enjoying football. He's come here and he's just become, he's become not Timo Werner, but he's just become Chelsea-fied. Like, he just doesn't look like he's enjoying it. So hopefully the players can get a kick up their asses and we can start enjoying football, playing good football. And really and truly, I would love to have Zinedine Zidane here. Zidane, whatever his name is, I can't say it. But I would love to have him here, the Champions League winners, just to keep our Champions League glory going. So I'm quite happy with the news, to be honest. I can't lie.
No, I totally get that. And just want to update everybody as well. The 3 current shortlisted managers by Todd Bowley are Potter, Pochettino, and they are looking like they're going to make a move for Zinedine Zidane. As it stands now, that's the news being reported that they are the 3 managers shortlisted by Chelsea as it stands right now. Chris, I hear your views, my friend, and we'll chat again soon. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.
Chris there, happy with this news. And I want to get your take. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your feelings. But Zidane linked. Rather have Marco Bielsa than Poch. That's an interesting take. I don't think that will happen, but I hear the point that you're making. Next on the show, I'm going to speak to Kurdish Ball is with us now. What are you saying, my friend?
Terry, thanks for having me on again, bro. Crazy decision.
Crazy decision.
Yeah, it stinks of Rafa Benitez with Everton, if you remember, where they sold, was it Digne? I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name, to Aston Villa for him, and then 3 weeks later they got rid of him. You've got rid of your whole infrastructure. You've come in as an owner, so it's not like you've got a back team saying these players are the ones we want. You've then gone to the manager and said, who do you want? You've spent 200 million, and you've got rid of him within 4 games of the season, 4 or 5 games of the season. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like saying, right, we'll back you and we'll build your team, but actually, as soon as it's gone wrong, let's bring someone else in. So now this new manager is going to come in. He's going to want his new players. He's going to want to play with people that suit his style. And all of a sudden, you're going to have to reinvest another 200 million in January. It's really poor planning by the owner. Really, really poor planning.
And do you know what? I understand. I understand that take. The only way it makes sense is if this has always been on the cards, and the lines and the PR that these are Tuchel's players lies. And we've seen before, new owners come in and they give the previous manager a little bit of time and they move him on. If they've had an ideal that we want to bring in these types of footballers, sell these types of individuals because we want to bring in a better attacking style of play. So a Poch or a Graham Potter as an example, or as a Dan, all 3 would kind of fit that profile. Maybe he's just been a dead man walking this whole time, which again, I don't like, but happens quite a lot when new owners come into a football club and they always say, no, we like the new manager. We're backing the new manager, but it doesn't take them long to move him on. If you look how quickly Ranieri pretty quickly was moved on. He had 1 year. The only reason he didn't win the league was because Arsenal were invincible. They had a better option come along, bang, moved him on. You look when City got taken over. Mark Hughes was in charge. They did all the spill about Mark Hughes is this, Mark Hughes is that, bang, gone very quickly. And I think the same here has happened to Thomas Tuchel. Maybe Tuchel should have used his head actually and just walked away when they came in and ended the end of the season and kind of gone out on a high. But look, we'll see what happens. Who do you think would be the best replacement for him, my friend?
I think Pochettino. I'm a big fan of Pochettino. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I've always been a big fan of Poch. He's clearly got a style of play. He can make what I would class as that medium level play into a very good player. He gets the best out of them. And I think if you look at that Chelsea squad right now, they don't have many world class players. They have a lot of good players, and I think they need someone to get the best out of him. I think with Zidane, you're looking at someone who's a bit more like Pep, who needs a lot of world class players to be able to play at that high level system. Whilst actually with someone like Poch, he's almost like a Klopp a little bit. You're looking at your 30 to 50 million signings and your Mason Mounts, your Kai Havertz, which I know they cost more, but that kind of player, and he can bring the best out of them. I think Poch will do for them. But the problem you have is Poch needs time, and from Chelsea, they don't give managers time. So it's a bit of a catch-22 altogether.
Yeah, listen, I think there's when you look at all the managers they're linked with, there's pros and cons. Probably not so much with Zidane. There are the pros and cons, but I feel like with if you need someone that knows the Prem, Champions League experience, has won trophies now, has a point to prove, great, like Poch outweighs Graham Potter for me. But I also understand from a lot of Chelsea fans' point of view, they see Poch as Tottenham. They don't like Tottenham. There's a lot of Chelsea fans who are probably given a lot of stick for a long time to like Spurs fans for Poch. And it's almost like, oh my God, I can't be bothered to go back 5 years and delete all them tweets. I'd rather him not be our manager because I'm going to get cooked.
It's a good way to get back at Conte. You know, if you're looking at, you've took one of our ex managers, we'll take the best that you've ever had. You know, it's a good little revenge on them getting back for Conte as well. But it'll be interesting. Sky Sports have just said Graham Potter is the first manager they're expecting Chelsea to approach. Graham Potter is a great manager. The only sort of worry you have with Graham Potter, it almost rings of David Moyes at Everton, you know, with United. Great manager at Everton, got them stable, was really good, went to United, could not handle egos, and he's not proven at that level. So it's a risk with Graham Potter. It's a risk with really all of them, but I think probably Poch is probably the safest option out of the three.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, my friend, thanks for calling in and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you. Interesting update here from that's come from Matt Law, and we're going to read this out to you around the next appointment. And it kind of, someone said earlier that this isn't like a typical Todd Boehly move. And if you read this bit of news from Matt Law, obviously Matt Law's been given this by the football club straight away. I think this shows that maybe there were already some fractions in this dressing room from the previous regime, and there's almost an element of the owner saying maybe it's a little bit easier for us just to move Tuchel on and start again than it is to try and rescue the situation. But let me just put this up on the screen because I want to take you through what's been said here. Just bear with me a second because I'm uploading all this myself as KJ is actually traveling into London right now, so I don't have his support behind the scenes to get these things done. But what Matt Law has said, and he's quoting what the owners have told him, and this is very interesting news indeed, that the Chelsea owners want to be clear. The next head coach will be someone who is invested in their project and who the players expect to be in charge for many years. And look, right now, this is words. Right now, this is words from the owners. You need to see this put into practice. But when I read that, that reads very much along the lines of, I want to make sure I say this in the right way, but this reads to me like we've been buying players with an idea of moving on Thomas Tuchel, and the players are going to be told that we are not going to go down the road of sacking managers on a regular basis. We are not going to go down the road of allowing you to down tools. The next manager that comes in will kind of listen to what you want, look at what we want. We'll look at the profile of player we've got, and we'll bring in someone that's suitable. But he will be in charge, and we will be backing him. And that's always a lot easier to do when it's your manager you've appointed because you've made that decision, as opposed to, this was Roman's manager. This wasn't Todd Boehly's guy. We have to see what they do in the cold, hard light of day. Chelsea's player power issues have been, renowned for a long time. And we've seen it at Man United in the last decade. Players are not happy. They stop working. Look at the yards they're now running for Thomas Tuchel compared to Rangnick. They shouldn't have to have the right manager to run that hard, but the humans are humans. We're going to go to some more of your comments that are coming through here. There's been loads of super chats as well, and I don't want to miss these. Call me in, Terry. We'll come to you as soon as we can, my friend. I promise. Sounds like a business decision from the takeover. Always happens when new owners come in. They already clear the board and they want to bring in their own people in. I'm absolutely livid is what Emmanuel's got to say here. Not happy with this decision. Houseboat says the writing has been on the wall. No consistency, paper-thin mentality and stubbornness bordering on arrogance. Thomas Tuchel wasn't tested at Paris Saint-Germain and shows big respect to how he started, but there had to be a change is what Houseboat has had to say to us here. On top of that, Boehly is even worse than Abramovich. They did not even give him enough time to fix that team, is what Jerome's got to say. Carlo Ancelotti all over again. A world-class manager is now on the market. All other managers are a downgrade from Thomas Tuchel, is what C believes. Winning trophies over style of play. Poch is all style with no substance. So not a couple of not happy fans about this here. Sampson says, when I heard him after the game say, I don't know what to do, when the journalist asked him what next, I had a sinking feeling, but didn't think this was going to happen. Me neither. Like, I was actually getting ready for a show to talk about him being sacked. And I was a little bit apprehensive because I thought, I'm going to get cooked on this. I'm literally going to have people cooking me for this, going mad at me, probably attacking me, clickbait this, clickbait that. And I was literally about to go live, or I was about to set the stream up. And then I just saw Transfer Deadline say that he'd been sacked. And I thought, okay, cool. And I just thought it was a spoof. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's real. And that literally before anybody. Like this, do you know what I loved about this? This was like the old school days where the club announced a signing before any journalist knew. I actually kind of enjoy it in the sense of there was no, listen, I'm not even naming them to have a pop. None of the tier ones, as far as I can see, knew this was coming. And if they did, they were told by the clubs, you say nothing until we put it out there. Crazy. Damasio has just confirmed that Maurizio Pochettino and Zinedine Zidane could also be approached alongside Graham Potter. So Zinedine Zidane could be approached according to one of the best names in the business, and that is Damasio. We all know how good Damasio is. Next caller on the show, I'm going to go to Fator. We've got True Chelsea FC to come on. We've got Ninos to come on. We've got Satchviz to come on, Collins to come on, and more. But Fator's on with us now. Give us your reaction, my friend.
Oh man, this was surprise actually, Terry. I think I sent you a video a bit after last night when he came to the away fans just to wave goodbye. Thank you very much. Pretty much that's the last bits after the game ends. So I wouldn't be surprised if anything's happened in that locker room itself. But I feel like Bowley's trying to protect his investment because he spent a lot, £300 million for the transfer window this summer as well, and the fact that there's no DOF coming in, so now it's a bit of a mess now. Like you said, like the Zidane, the Pochettino links is very strong. Graham Potter as well. That's three managers now. So my problem is that I've seen this kind of cycle before in the past that the likes of Lampard, Sarri, Conte, Mourinho, it's this kind of player power, kind of like, I don't really like it, but at the end of the day, like, this is going to be a regular occurrence that's going to happen to Chelsea. Let's say another manager comes in next time around, whether it's Pochettino, Zidane, or Potter. Are we going to relive in the same cycle again? And that's my concern, man. And the fact that I want the new manager to be in a long-term manager, not like a short chopping and changing things. And it's not going to be easy for the next couple of weeks for Chelsea. And we got 3 games to end the month. And yeah, I hope Bowley finds a solution, man.
Mate, I mean, we hope he does. And again, what is being confirmed now by a couple of more big journalists, TalkSport have now mentioned this as well, that currently the front runner, the manager that Chelsea want the most right now is Graham Potter. According to a number of journalists, including a journalist we've had on the terrace before, Nick Purewell, sorry.
Purewell, yeah.
Purewell has confirmed that he is the early front runner for the job. Fator, really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. I really do. And we'll chat again soon, my friend. Top man.
Thank you.
Not a problem at all. That is the early front runner for the job, Graham Potter. TalkSport have said, I want to make sure I quote them right here. Where is that tweet gone? From TalkSport. Chelsea want Brighton's Graham Potter to replace Thomas Tuchel. He is their first choice. I'm just copying that across. I don't want to put that in the wrong way as it stands. But that's big news. That is big news. If Graham Potter is the guy who is the number one choice. Thoughts and feelings, people. Already confirmed that Ben Jacobs on the show with me tomorrow. We're going to get a time sorted. It's going to be on this week anyway. But of course, with this news, so Chelsea fans will be getting one of the best in the business to give you a full update. And I think a full update tomorrow is going to be really important because today will be the day the journalists go around and really go out and find out what's been going on. We've got Andy Tate to come on very soon to have his say as well. We've got Ninos coming. Before that, CFC Giddy's here. What are you saying, Giddy? You're muted if you're talking, bro. Okay, he's not ready. So we're going to go to Ninos. What are you saying, my friend?
Hey, what's happening, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, give me your reaction to this, mate.
It's the usual thing, isn't it, with Chelsea? There have been managers that have been sacked for less. So I don't think sacking the look at the beginning, pretty much when Abramovich was taking over Chelsea, Abramovich would give the funds and would not get involved as much as Todd Boehly wants. So I think a lot of these players that Chelsea brought on were a part choice in Todd Boehly, and it wasn't a case of Thomas Tuchel saying, yes, this is who I want. And I think that's where it went up in flames. So, and it happens in the past with Chelsea. This is why, I've got friends that are supporters and I don't even bother arguing with them because, everyone says they broke a record for spending this season. That's never happened in history with any club. So big spending, and they're still wherever they're sitting on the ladder. I don't think they're going to get any better. And I don't think by bringing a new manager, it's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, I do and I don't think I do and I don't think that it will change in the sense of if you bring in the right manager and you run the club well, I think you can change it. But the one thing that you need to get right is you need the right manager, you need the right balance of players, and you need there to be time. And the problem is with a lot of clubs, my club's gone through this, Chelsea have done this many times. As soon as players become unhappy, they stop working. That can't be the case because you're going to have ups and downs, especially with so many good teams around you. And I think that's the kind of message that this club want to put out there. But I know Chelsea fans will have this fear inside of, are we going to do the wrong thing again? Are we going to allow, are we going to bring in another top manager, start playing well, and when things get a bit hairy, just move him on, and then that manager goes off elsewhere and does well, as we've seen with Carlo Ancelotti. Look at Carlo Ancelotti's won since he's left as an example. Jose went to do a treble after he left. Sacking Jose the first time round, still I look back at it, it's one of the craziest decisions they ever made because he was still top 2 managers in the world at that point, and they let him go. Maybe they're doing the same again here.
Well, that's what I say when you said getting the right manager. This is what I don't understand. They've had plenty of opportunities of the right manager. They've had it over and over again, and they've just sacked everyone they can. And this is what happens. They've just got a lot of money invested, and that's all they do. They buy and buy and buy and buy, and they have no respect for anybody.
Mate, I hear you. I really, really do. Who would you rather them get? Potter, Poch, or Zidane? Who would be the best choice in your opinion?
I reckon Pochettino. He's got a lot of experience in the EPL, and I still think he's got unfinished business.
Yeah,
I really think he's probably the best out of the 3.
I hear you on that completely. My friend, thanks for calling in and having your say. Really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. True Chelsea FC's on coming on the show with us in a moment. Before that, we're going to go to Sach. I think it's pronounced Sachvid. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You really want to? What's on your mind? Thomas Tuchel sacked. Give me your instant reaction.
Honestly, as a Man U fan, I'm really, really shocked, and I feel it's really harsh. To be honest with you, it looked really harsh.
In what way?
As in, it's just being like few games. It's just like I mean, like the season has just only kind of started, and and I think it's like I don't know what to say. I'm really shocked.
No, listen, I would say to you this, my friend. I know the season has just started, but I would take it from this point of view. This isn't because of the results just this season. There will be behind the scene issues in terms of players not buying into him. I think there's a notion that this ownership didn't see him as the manager they wanted to take their project forward, and the results at the beginning of the season. I think when you couple those things together collectively, that's why this has happened. So that's what I think it really comes down to. Thank you for waiting patiently to have your say, my friend. We'll chat again to you soon. Thank you very much, buddy. Next on the show, True Chelsea FC. What you saying, my friend?
Oh, Terry, big up to you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Give me your thoughts. Tuchel sacked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, honestly. Like, I'm not surprised because I've seen this coming, right? I've seen this coming. I did want to tweet yesterday that that he was gonna get sacked. Well, I knew that this is good. This day is gonna happen because, to be honest, like he brought everything upon himself. He brought it up to me. In my opinion, he brought it upon himself. Like this man has been backed by the new owners, and what's surprising is the fact that every Chelsea. I don't understand the reason why Chelsea fans are like surprised that he got sacked. Like, why are you guys surprised that he got sacked? He's gonna get sacked because nothing is working. Like this man has been with this, like this is his 2.5 years now being as a
Yeah.
Chelsea manager. He's had 2 preseasons with these players, with the team, and he still hasn't been able to figure out his first team. For the first time, Chelsea finally had an owner that is willing to back the manager. He got involved in this transfer window this current transfer window that's closed. He got heavily involved in the transfer window.
Mhm.
If it's down to Thomas, if it's down to Todd Bowley's, if because one of the guy that called earlier was saying something about Todd Bowley being the person that's buying all the players and Tuchel has no say. No, if that was the case, Ronaldo would have been at Chelsea by now. So
Yeah.
Tuchel has a say in this transfer window. You cannot spend over 250 million pounds and you're losing against Dynamo Zagreb. I'm like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And if you remember, Terry, the last time I came to this show, I said that the issue for me, in my opinion, the issue with this team is the style of play that Tuchel is executing on the training pitch. I don't believe they're doing the right thing on the. I've spent an hour digging into Chelsea trainings, and there's nothing that's convinced me that things is going to change anytime soon. Like this guy is so stubborn. Like you just bought a new DM as well. Like you put your DM on the bench and you're playing Mason as in number 6 position. Who does that?
Mm.
So yesterday after the game, I tweeted that everything I tweeted on Twitter that everything you've witnessed about this team is the reflection of what's happening on the training pitch.
No, and I understand that. And look, again, and I think you're right in the sense of I don't think the players are buying into these ideas anymore. They've stopped trying. They could still have worked harder on the pitch. I've seen
Yeah.
some very poor performances from players, but
Yeah.
that's the nature of the beast. Thank you very much for coming on, mate, and giving us your thoughts today. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. We've got Tarap to come on. We've got Tom Little. We've got Andy joining us very, very soon indeed. Collins is with us now, though. What are you saying, Collins?
Good evening. Thanks for having me, Terry.
Yeah, what do you want to say, bro?
For me, it's not a surprise team because yesterday, after the game yesterday, I told my friend that Tuchel is going to get sacked. If you remember last time when I called you, when Man U was looking for a coach, I said Graham Potter is the best coach anybody can dream of. For me, Potter is the best coach. Not only that, he's going to coach the team, he's going to also allow the academy to play because he normally uses little boys to play as well. So having Potter in Chelsea will be a great job because we have so many academy players, we have so many youth, which playing under Potter will give them a lot of exposure for them to play very well. So for me, that's a very good project. So Tuchel is not a surprise because watching the whole game, everything, like if you watch some news, they are telling you 100 days ago, they already wanted to sack him. So
I agree. I
I
want to ask you a question. Potter or Zidane, who would be your pick?
I don't want Poch because you remember what happened in Everton. So when Benitez went to Everton, so the same thing will happen if you hire Poch now. You know, because of Chelsea and Tottenham team. So
I get it. Which one do you want? What one do you want? I want to know who you want.
Graham Potter.
You want Graham Potter. There we go.
Yeah,
Collins, my friend, thank you for coming on and having your say. Top man indeed. Another one for Graham Potter. Anita is joining us now to have her say. Morning, Anita. Crazy news today. Give me your thoughts. I mean, out of nowhere, gone.
Terry, I'm actually so shocked. Like, I woke up this morning thinking I'm going to have a decent day, going to block out all the news with Chelsea in the Champions League or whatever. And it's just not been the case today, has it? I'm actually quite shocked. I don't think a Chelsea manager has been sacked in September. September is pretty early to make a judgment call and sack a manager. You know, things are still getting in place. Things are still coming together. Of course, there are a lot of Chelsea fans. I've been listening for a few minutes, and I've seen a number of Chelsea fans kind of say they can't see what Thomas Tuchel's doing with the team, etc. But at the same time, there are a lot of new faces in the team. Thomas Tuchel's trying to find a blend, trying to find a way to get this team clicking again, get this team working again. And it's going to take more than a month to do that. But sacking him so early on in the season, it's a big warning sign for me, because what are we going to do? Who are we going to get in? Everyone's talking about Graham Potter. Does Graham Potter want to leave Brighton to come into this kind of pressure? Is that a feasible choice for Graham Potter at this moment in time? I'm not too sure. A lot of people are talking about Zinedine Zidane. Is Zinedine Zidane a perfect fit for Chelsea? He was a perfect fit for Real Madrid because Real Madrid already had the players. They had the players, they had the personnel, but Zidane will have to come in and he will have to fix all of these little problems that Chelsea have, and he'll have to try and put in a regime that suits all of these players, that can make these players work. Are these two managers going to be able to do that? Is Pochettino the right option? Does Pochettino have the winning mentality that is required to be a Chelsea fan? Is it feasible? Again, Thomas Tuchel, for me, was just the perfect fit. He needed more time. Yes, the players didn't look like they were in it last night against Dynamo Zagreb, and it did look quite dire at some points, but at the same time, there needs to be other kind of solutions. Sacking Thomas Tuchel this early on, it's a shocker for me. And you know, I've met Thomas Tuchel, so this hurts even deeper for me because he's such a good lad. He's such a good man. It's depressing. It's sad.
No, listen, I understand it, and again, I look at it from. I did not expect him to be sacked now. With the way the rhetoric came out the club of these are his signings, we're behind him, we don't want to replace him. For him to be gone this early, there must just have been a situation where they've weighed everything up, and maybe he himself even said to them, "I don't think I can get these guys playing for me again. Maybe there's fractured relationships." That's the only thing that makes logical sense. That they just decided amongst themselves, "I can't get this team back playing," because I mean, to spend that much money, that no club has ever spent that much money in a window before. It was the youngsters that you were buying that were more for the future than now. The kind of the stories coming out that Declan Rice was the #1 target. Like next summer, you kind of felt like they were trying to build something. So I totally get the shock, and no one saw it. And the fact that you didn't have Ornstein, Matt Law, Fabrizio, Kinsella, none of them
No one predicted it.
Not even the noise. Not even a noise came out last night. None of the kind of big content creators from Chelsea. There wasn't a murmur. So this is, I get the shock value because I first saw the tweet, and you know when you sometimes get caught out by those fake accounts that they look like it was. I was like, no, they ain't sacked him. And then I'm like, that's Chelsea. It's verified. I then went on the website. I'm like, I checked even before I started making my thumbnail. I'm like, I'm checking this because I'm not going live with fake news. But question for you: who would? I mean, maybe you haven't even started thinking about it yet. Who for you would be the ideal replacement?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not something that I've thought about at all because, again, when someone's about to get sacked, like you said, like you'd hear some murmurs, you'll hear a little something. You'll hear something from Fabrizio, you'll hear something from David Ornstein, you'll hear something. But because it's just dawned on me and it's just happened now, I can't think of a more suitable replacement for Thomas Tuchel. I can't think of one. And I made a tweet like as a joke, but as for Jose Mourinho. But really and truly, Jose Mourinho is the only man that could probably come and save us at this point. He's done it before. He can do it again. But everyone's saying Graham Potter. Is Graham Potter, like I said, is Graham Potter going to leave Brighton to come into this stress? I don't know about that. Is Pochettino a winning man for Chelsea? We don't know about that. We haven't seen it before. He struggled at PSG. Is he going to be able to handle the personnel at Chelsea? I don't know. So, Terry, like, for real, you know, there are many times you have not seen me speechless. I'm speechless today. I can't think of any manager that can come in, turn things around, especially the way Thomas Tuchel turned things around for Chelsea last year. I can't see it happening, and I hope and pray that Todd Bowley knows exactly what he's doing and has a replacement ready for Chelsea, because if not, we can kiss top four goodbye. We can kiss it goodbye.
And as you say, it's I think the top two are going to be Poch and Potter. Yeah. I just don't think Zidane wants to come and manage in England. I think he wants a France job. They might convince him otherwise with a big salary, but and even he comes with the pressure of he hasn't managed here. I know he did brilliantly at Real Madrid, but there are question marks over it still.
Yeah.
He had one of the greatest Real Madrid teams of all time. He had Ronaldo. There's loads of things to kind of focus on there.
He had Benzema at his disposal. He had so many great players there. I wouldn't back it. Personally, I wouldn't back it.
I get it. And Graham Potter, like a lot of people saying, get Potter. And I get it because the football's beautiful. But the man, I don't know if he's ever managed a Champions League game. Has he ever managed the budget like this? Has he managed the pressure like this? I almost feel like Potter needs a go-between. He needs a club before a Chelsea, before an Arsenal, before a Man City, before a Liverpool. However, he probably believes in himself. And if the football's nice, that always buys you a little bit more time. But I get a little feeling it's going to be Poch, and you're almost going to have this Conte's at Tottenham, Poch is now at Chelsea. And how you go back 4 years ago, how you all felt about each other's managers. What a turnaround that could be. I mean, that's going to be one. This going to be. I would suggest a few Chelsea fans go cleanse your timeline from tweets. You search your @ and Poch's name because you might have said some things. You might have said.
I need to go do that right now.
Anita, always a pleasure to speak.
It was lovely.
And well done. I haven't said this publicly, but well done on your new role. Congratulations. Absolutely smashing it. So well done. It's great to see people doing brilliantly. I love it. I really, really do. Anita, we'll chat again soon. Take care.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Shocking big news there. We're going to bring out a mini panel for you in a minute. Tom Little's coming on. The legend Andy Tate is going to be with us. We're going to bring Tarap on to have you say Winter Surfer is going to be there. Dare I say Zane, the Liverpool fan Zane? Why am I getting that? Oh, do you know what? That's me that's making the noises because I've got my emails open. I'm sorry. I don't like background noise and I'm doing it. I'm going to do super chats first. Then I'm going to bring out the mini panel for the last bit of the show. Neutral on this one, to be honest. The 3 ATB plus, I don't know what the hell that means. I'm missing something. Plus J5 BS had to go. The 3 at the back. Sorry, I get it now. Sorry. Still shocked. And thank you, Thomas Tuchel. Potter in for me is what John believes. Bowley is worrying me. Seems there's no plan. Sometimes you can't see a plan when you're in the midst of it. You can't. And then by the end of it, you do. So let's see what happens. But I totally get the feeling that you've got there, my friend. I really do. David is definitely crying right now. David's got a job, so he can't come on. But yeah, I bet he is. Aubameyang went to Chelsea because of Tuchel. Oh, wait, he's sacked now. And Poch got Spurs a Champions League final. Why would he go manage Chelsea? Spurs fans would hate him forever. Money talks, opportunity talks. Spurs, I mean, listen, it's one of those things. If you'd have said in the year 2000, the year 2001, the year 2002, the year 2003, that Michael Owen would be scoring goals in a Man United Premier League title winning team, you'd have been called crazy. Once upon a time when Eric Cantona was killing it for Leeds United, nobody would ever have agreed that he would end up playing for Manchester United. Ask Barcelona fans if they ever felt that Luis Figo would jump ship. Or was it the other way around? Did he go from Real Madrid to Barca or Barca to Real Madrid? Did he go Barca to Real Madrid? Real Madrid to Barca? Yeah, that way around. Who would have thought it? I get confused. I know there was a pig's head thrown on the pitch. I just forget which way around it was. These things happen. Todd has only seen losses since last season. Thomas Tuchel is a data scientist buff and has lost in analysis. Chelsea need a footballer, is what Ian believes. Has Anita forgotten about the 15-16 season with Jose? Yeah, look, she listen, in shock right now. Couldn't remember it, but Anita knows her football 100%. Right, let's bring out this panel for you now. Winter Surfer, Tom Little. We've got Zane, we've got Tarap, and we've got Andy Tate coming out with us now to have their say. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I want to go to Winter Surfer first of all, mate, as you are a Chelsea fan. Shock. I mean, no one expected this, did they?
No. I think what the fans are really shocked about is that they thought this regime would be different from the last. And maybe that's the shock as well. They thought they would give him time, stuff like that. But if you actually deep it, I said to you, do you remember what he said after the Arsenal pre-season game when he was asked about why we were playing so bad? It's an abbreviation. He came out and said, well, what do you expect? I've still got the same players. Once you throw your players under the bus, you can't get them back. You can't get them back. It's very hard to get them back. And he's still picking some of those players as well. So, and he said it even during the start of the season, we still need better players to come in. We still need this. We've seen it before. The greatest managers, when you lose the dressing room, which I believe he has done, because of the way they're playing, and that is an indictment on the players as well, for the shocking performances as well. But once you lose that, and you know as a group of players that the club aren't going to get rid of you because the amount of money you make, and it's easy to get rid of one person, you will form cliques in that dressing room against the manager to try and get them out. And it's happened at every single club, and mostly at Chelsea. But these guys aren't wasting time. They put 4.25 billion in. They spent 250 million in the summer. If they don't see a change, then they're going to be ruthless as hell. It's not as if we're having like we're going to have week to week games. The fixture pile up is immense before the World Cup, and if they don't see a change, then they're just going to act. So I'm already seeing it. We're already seeing stuff come out. I've sent you stuff that reporters now saying how tense it was even in training as well. So once the players stop believing in a manager, there's only one outcome, isn't there? And we've seen it all before. So.
No, I totally agree. Rivals with us now. Tom, I will come to you first. I mean, I know there's always banter, but surely none of you expected this morning to see this news come out.
I'm going to be honest, I thought he was going to get till the end of the season, and then they make the decision there. They invested £250 million in a manager to sack him the first or second game after the transfer window closes. That is an absolutely crazy decision. We're getting all the stories coming out now that Tuchel fell out with them during the summer because he didn't like how the transfers were getting done. Who's to say? I don't agree with owners making the transfers. I think you need football and men to make the footballing decisions. So I don't agree with how Chelsea ran it this window. Who's to say that the next manager you bring in is going to work with all these signings that you've made?
I agree.
Who's to say
the
that?
risk? That's the risk. The problem is they weren't. There's no way Todd Bowley was planning to do all these transfers. He had Marina, Peter Cech in place. They obviously disagreed with, keeping Lukaku and other things like that. They wanted to do that. They wanted to sign this player and that player. There was a different disagreement. They've gone out. They probably like more time to search for a director of football, but they knew they were behind in the transfer market already. They needed to hit the ground running. They needed to win the fans over as soon as possible because they're a new regime. It's not how they would envisage taking over a club. Obviously, it was difficult circumstances.
I don't think they ever wanted Tuchel. I will be completely honest. I think they wanted to get rid of Tuchel, but because he had such a good standing with the Chelsea fans at the time, it was the easiest thing to do. Just keep him in. It'll keep the fans on our side while we get these transfers done and everything. And then when it goes wrong, or when you get the ones that start to question him, we can get him gone then, and it won't look as bad. That's how they've done it. How Tuchel's been treated for what he's done. Don't get me wrong, tactically this season he's been poor. There's been a lot of issues in that Chelsea team this season, and Tuchel is to blame for them. But I do think he's still being treated very harshly by these owners. You back your manager with the transfers he wants. You're a Chelsea fan, Winterserve. How many of them transfers that you've made do you think Tuchel actually wanted?
Sterling, probably.
It's really. It's hard now because we're probably going to get stories coming out that he only wanted one of them or something. I believe he was really pushing for Sterling, and he came out and said it. I believe, there's rumours that, the stories about he wanted Koulibaly. I know, but I don't know if he wanted, and I want Cucurella because he's a good player. I don't know if he wanted Cucurella. I don't know if he wanted him, stuff like that. I don't know. We're going to get all these stories coming out. It's really weird. We just signed Aubameyang, and then a week later, he comes.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree, and I think this is the thing. Tom, I mean, the Aubameyang one, it was there, but this is what I bang on about this. Football fans continually buying into their club's PR. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't alternate. Like I always say, listen to it, go okay, but take it with a pinch of salt. One of the reasons I stopped watching MUTV years ago is I realized that this is the Glaze. Turab, I'm just going to mute you, Turab, while you're moving that mic around because that's really loud in my ears. Like everything they say was like positive. It wasn't like reading the truth. It was reading their stance. It was when I was working for one of the biggest banks in the country. I kind of realized that everything they wrote about, no matter what the story was in the media about the bank I worked in, how they explained it internally, it sounded like they were doing nothing wrong ever. And I just started to question it around, It can't be like if it was really like you've said, there's no way these media reports would be the way they are, right? And that's how I started looking at football clubs. Everything the clubs say is like, we're perfect. There's harmony. There's no issue here. Everyone's happy. All the things the media are saying are wrong. And then turmoil ensues. Generally, there's no smoke without fire. And you look back now, and Chelsea fans, I don't want to use the word you've been lied to by the new ownership, but I don't think they really wanted Tuchel. I think the players smelt blood, especially the players that weren't enjoying it. What you're now going to get is stories come out going, oh, maybe Lukaku was right. Should we bring him back? He moaned about it. And I said when Lukaku put that story out, that was a seed being planted in the minds of Chelsea fans that Thomas Tuchel's system may be the issue. I don't think Tuchel's system is the issue. I think they didn't buy into Tuchel, some of the players. And then when the new ownership came in, it was like, now's our chance and time to pounce on that manager.
Terry, I believe this is also Chelsea fans shifting, and maybe I believe in half of it. It's like, oh, things are going to be different because Roman used to always do this. We're talking about successful business people, right? In another sport as well, that want to, they put a lot of money in, we're not just talking about the transfers and what they bought the club. They put so much money aside to redevelop the stadium as well. That's separate. That they need to see performances on the pitch. And maybe you're right. When a huge takeover happens, you want to get your own people in. They got rid of Marina. They got rid of Bruce. They got rid of Chet. They got rid of most of the board. They're bringing in their own people. They want their own imprint on that. And Tom's right. Thomas Tuchel was the de facto face of this club when it was in sanctions. Not Marina, not Roman, stuff like that. He was the head. He was handled well. He got good PR. He built up his profile even more with the Chelsea fans. They loved him even more. But, you want your own guy in there.
And Chelsea have gone one step beyond. I tell you. One step beyond, Terry. It's shocking. It really is shocking. Seriously, a Champions League winner, World Club Championship winner, two cup finals. All right, on pens, they lost. Could have gone either way. Established in the top four, and now I think they are seriously in trouble of not even making the top four for next season. And that just boosts us up. And
100%.
United and that as well. So this is shocking. This will, I say, new regime, bankers in charge instead of people. Just like this is just United syndrome. This will bite Chelsea back in it, and it will cost them top four this season.
I don't. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But the thing is like, how long do you go if the performances still continue?
You know what sums it up most for me? You know what sums it up most? It was that Romeo Lavia story. The fact that after that Southampton game, you went to go and buy a player who signed this window and offered £50 million for him when his buyback clause is only 40 million. It just screams inexperience and no knowledge. And that is a major issue for a club like Chelsea.
Yeah,
but
which is
do you know what it does say though? You mentioned there the one thing Thomas Tuchel did wrong, and this is why I've called out Man United fans for this for years. Managers that start to talk badly about recruitment and or slag off their own players, it never ends well. It doesn't end. It never ends with what the fans. I want that honesty, but it never ever ends how you want it to. It ends with the manager losing his job, somebody else coming in. Sometimes that new manager makes you better. Sometimes that new manager doesn't. And Chelsea, if you look at Chelsea's history, some of their new managers have taken them to another level, won league titles and Premier Leagues. Some of their new managers have taken them further backwards. There is no foolproof plan, and at the moment, there's no director of football. You've got, this is the scary thing. Now, I know that on paper, and this is where buying into the PR is interesting. All the big Chelsea Twitter accounts will say, no, we've still got access to Marina. Bruce Buck is still there in some capacity, and we'll be able to use their expertise to appoint a new manager. However, the same people said they're building a squad for Thomas Tuchel when he's sacked inside 7 games. So if you just at a whim take what they're saying without with complete authority, like it's the gospel truth, you are setting yourselves up for failure. Chelsea fans now have to push back against the PR and demand real answers, because the reason I say that is this: you could currently have these bankers and non-football people picking your new manager. That is the scariest. Scarier than Tuchel being sacked is they need to, in my opinion, you need a caretaker manager now, and then what you need to have in place is a director of football appointed before you pick your new manager. Otherwise, you've got unqualified people picking your next manager. That should be more scary than Tuchel being sacked.
So you've hit the nail on the head, Terry. Sorry, I haven't spoken yet. I was just waiting for the right time. But so I think they're just going to
be hiring someone like I'm seeing Brendan Rodgers being linked now as well. I've just literally gone on Twitter, and he has the same odds as Zidane right now, 10-1. So, as a Chelsea fan, I'd be well annoyed, frustrated, and a bit scared because Todd Bowley wanted Ronaldo. Let's not forget, it was Tuchel that pushed back on it. Now, you just said there are unqualified people, and that is true. And it is because of that, you just never know. They could hire a Brendan Rodgers or do a random one like a Bielsa or someone from America like Leeds did. You just don't know what could happen. So I'd be very scared. As a rival fan, I'm buzzing that he's gone, honestly, because I felt like, as a Liverpool fan, I mean, we're separate. We're talking about Chelsea, but even as a rival, even as a City fan, you should be like, do you know what? Tuchel's gone. That's very good for us because we're facing, I think, Chelsea next weekend. So I'm more optimistic and confident now going into that game.
New manager bounce. We've got the new manager.
It won't be a new manager by then. They'll just get some caretaker like a John Terry or something. You just don't know.
But even then, look at last year with Michael Carrick for those 3 games. It was the best football Man United played all year. Those 3 games under Carrick were the best 3 because it was kind of like the relief of the manager going. But obviously they didn't like Ralph when he came in. Yeah. Zane, what do you want to say, bro?
Yo, I've come here for my flowers, bro. Basically, you saw last night. Someone say something out to the chat. Or ever. You think you can?
Zane, call back with better signal, my friend. We can barely hear you.
What he was going to say.
Best he's ever sounded.
Zane, we will get you on the show, but you need to call him a better signal. We can't have that level of signals are madness. Terribly planned pre-season, little training and more traveling. Thomas Tuchel doing less coaching, having to work on transfers. Midfield consistently changing due to injuries and fitness. New defensive unit, not on Thomas Tuchel, is what Gav believes. Sasko here says, any professional, when the leaders come out and say he doesn't know what to do or what is going on, you clearly are asking to be sacked. It's our DNA. We go again. And I think that's, again, another very, very fair take indeed. But people, listen, we are obviously going to be straight facts this afternoon with Lee Gunner. And I messaged him 10 minutes before this news came out saying, what are we talking about today? So I'm sure we'll be covering more of this with Lee Gunner this afternoon on Straight Facts. Of course, match reactions tonight to the Champions League football. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., Ben Jacobs will be joining me live on the terrace. So we'll be going through this in more detail and giving you a complete, comprehensive update around what's going on. So 11 a.m. tomorrow, no better place to be than the football terrace. So make sure you stay with us. Can we just remember people like myself were being told they were wrong when they said Chelsea were going to decline with the new ownership was running things? Do you know what I'd say, Gunner Dan? We don't know yet. And we don't know because if there is a real plan, but we can't see it, and they do bring in Poch and they bring in Paul Mitchell and they go to another level, this sacking is gonna be a bad thing for rivals. If they get it wrong, though, and I'm playing both sides here because that's my job as a host. If they get it wrong and they appoint the wrong person, you could be absolutely right. I would say right now, it's almost, I don't know as a rival whether to celebrate about this sacking or be worried about it. I'm still in the middle because Chelsea, the fact they're investing that money, if they get it right, it's dangerous. If they get it wrong, they're just the Glazers. But I totally get where you're coming from, my friend. I do. And another super chat came through here that says, wow, a stupid decision by non-football people after a scattergun transfer strategy. Who is available that is better than Thomas Tuchel? 6 finals. Shocking is what Hardeep has to say here. And I get these opinions. Ollie Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer is available. He is available, ladies and gentlemen, to go and see what's being said there. But listen, everyone that's tuned into the terrace, always humbling as ever. John Terry in? Anyone? John Terry?
Told you. No.
I can't believe that Gerrard's outlasted Tuchel here. Gerrard and Rodgers have outlasted Tuchel this season somehow.
That's nuts.
It's actually crazy. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.